Buying a home sight unseen has been a thing for military families over the last couple of years, and it is more and more common, and more people actually purchase a home sight unseen. What you need to know about purchasing a home sight unseen coming up next. Well, over the last couple of years, we've seen an increase in sight unseen purchases, not only with military families PCSing to their new duty station, but also civilians who are moving from one city to the other. There are actually two kinds of sight unseen buyers. The ones that never been in the area, don't know anything about the area, but moving to the area and purchasing a home. And then there are the ones that actually have been to the area, know exactly where they want to go, know neighborhoods, know everything around it. So which type are you? If you are military and you might been TDY to Robins Air Force Base, you probably know the area. You probably know the neighborhoods and know exactly where you want to move to. But if you have never been here and you PCS from somewhere completely different, you want as much information as possible. Sight unseen purchases are a difficult task for the buyers, but they're more and more common and people do them all the time now. So you need to know what to do and you need to start your research. You're probably already doing your research, otherwise you wouldn't watch that video, I assume. There are a couple of things you can research online easily. Super easy nowadays for you to research them. You probably should start with your priorities, your must-haves. What are your must-haves? What is most important for you and your family? Is it the schools? Is it the neighborhoods? Or is it the commute to work or base? You can research all of those online nowadays pretty easily to find out what you're exactly looking for. And if you have done that, you can start looking for houses with those specific criteria, which makes it way easier if you are prepared. After your personal research is done, you probably should start looking for a real estate agent. Work with a great real estate agent. That is so important in that process of buying sight unseen. Interview a couple of them. Make sure the agent you work with has the knowledge of technology to work with FaceTime, Zoom, Google Duo, whatever is out there to do video calls and walk you through the house. If you have an agent that is not familiar with those technologies, you're gonna have a hard time right off the start to make this process as easy and smooth as possible and as successful as possible for you at the end. You gotta keep in mind that agent you work with is the boots on the ground at the location you are moving to. The agent is your eyes, your nose, your hands. I mean, everything you are not at this moment, that agent is for you. You need someone that describes everything perfectly, but is also neutral when it comes to walking through houses. If I do a video walkthrough with my clients that are not physically here, I make sure to describe as much as possible because I always think about them being on their phone, their tablet, their computer screen, whatever, but their view is completely different and smaller than what I see right there at the property. All the details. If the ceiling is popcorn or flat or structured, or if the flooring changes throughout, you gotta make sure that your agent tells you all those details and describes everything while walking through the home. For you, the best thing to do while walking through the house with your real estate agent, ask as many questions as you can. Think about what you would look for when you walk through a house. And if the real estate agent doesn't already do that, because it's kind of natural, ask those questions. So the real estate agent can look that up while walking through the house and explain it to you. Nowadays, we luckily got those technologies that already give you a little bit of a 3D walkthrough or a walkthrough in general with the listing when it is published. But even though that gives you a better understanding of the property in general, make sure your real estate agent you work with is still walking through in person with you on the phone and explains it, because that is a completely different view than one of those virtual 3D tours. Walking through gives you the opportunity to ask the agent those questions I talked about earlier, which are very important in that process. Make sure that the agent you actually work with also does a tour of the neighborhood in the area the house you're looking at is in. You want to know what that neighborhood looks like. And I personally do it that way. I live fly my drone on a live feed with my clients watching that live feed, asking me questions about the neighborhood, and I can direct whatever they want to see with the drone, fly over it, and then see exactly where the property is at, what the neighborhood looks like. Because you want to know, does that neighborhood have sidewalks? Does that neighborhood have a playground, a clubhouse? Those are informations you might want to know. You also want to know, is the house or the neighborhood close to train tracks, power lines, and so on? You do not see that if you just walk through the house. So you should have your agent either walk or drive through the neighborhood safely to show you where the property is located so you can gather as much information as possible to make your decision. With all those tools online, you could also check Google Street View. Sometimes Google Street View is a little bit outdated, and therefore it is always better to have the agent walk through the neighborhood or drive through the neighborhood to give you an updated picture of the neighborhood you are looking to purchase in. Another very important and easy to use tool nowadays is check out social media. Check out neighborhood pages, ask questions, check out Nextdoor. You can check if people have some questions or already answer questions about specific neighborhoods and get your information from the neighbors in that neighborhood. If you have family or friends in the neighborhood or fellow airmen you worked with back in the day and you trust, maybe they can walk through the house with your agent. So you have someone on the ground right here where you are purchasing a home. Now that you found your home and you actually offered, your offer got accepted, you are in your due diligence period, the next tool you are utilizing is your inspector. I encourage everyone who purchases a house to be here physically for the inspection. I know a lot of you guys cannot be here. It's just not possible, especially with the military. It has not been possible. I always go to my home inspections, so I am there for my client at the home inspection. Also, you can contact the home inspector and have a video chat with the home inspector after the inspection is done, and the home inspector can show you the good, bad, and the ugly right there on the video feed and explain everything to you. Like I said, you gotta gather as much information as you can to make an educated decision. Another important tip is, if you're looking for a home inspector, make sure you interview a couple of them and make sure they are willing to do a video walkthrough with you after the home inspection is done. Check out their rating. Look at good ratings from home inspections. Same with a real estate agent. You want to have the right fit. A good inspector is key to a great transaction. If you're looking to purchase sight unseen, also keep in mind that sight unseen offers sometimes might be not as strong as people who are physically at the location. And it is not because the offer is not strong, it is because the sellers are scared of maybe taking a sight unseen offer because the people are not physically there, and therefore the seller might think that it is easier for them to back out and they are losing out on the sale. So sometimes they just choose a person who is actually physically here than working with someone that is out of state, out of country, and is not physically at the location. So make sure you talk to your real estate agent to see how you can make your offer as strong as possible as a sight unseen buyer. The last thing is prepare yourself for the first time you walk through that door and see the house in person. Most of the buyers I've worked with, or pretty much all of the buyers I worked with, always said that the house looks even better than it did in the virtual tour we did. But make sure you know that you could be disappointed. That is not only a thing for buyers that purchase a home sight unseen, that is a thing that happens to buyers who actually walked numerous times through the home before actually closing on it. So make sure you prepare yourself for the first time you actually meet your new property and walk through there physically all by yourself. Make sure that you find a real estate agent that knows the technology, knows how to deal with virtual walkthroughs, and can show you not only the property but also the neighborhood the property is located in, to give you as much information as possible, and describes the house the agent is actually walking through. That is so important for you because you don't see it in the view we as agents see it. Agent on the ground is your eyes, your ears, your nose, your hands. They smell it, they see it, they can feel it. They need to for you. Make sure you interview a couple of agents and figure out if they are knowledgeable when it comes to the technology to help you purchasing a home sight unseen. If you're PCSing to Robins Air Force Base, check out this video up here about PCSing to Robins Air Force Base. I'll see you in my next video.